So for us to intervene, a person has to voluntarily admit that he has a problem with the use of substances and that he is willing to undergo rehabilitation.
Africa, my land, the land of my forefathers.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is channel 24.99. My name is SWAZI, aka StyleSaBiggs. Before we start up this show today, I just wanted to say we are back by popular demand. Make sure you tell your friends, family and lovers to subscribe and like the channel 24.99. Well, today we are here at the offices of MASAC. MASAC is a non-profit organization. They are dealing with substance and drug abuse. We're going to get inside the office and they will tell us exactly what they are dealing with, their services, projects, and so many things that they have. So, everything, and then they will tell us more what they're doing. Away! Yes, indeed, we are inside the MASAC offices. As you can see, we are accompanied by their officials. We've got a beautiful lady here and my guy over that side. So they are going to tell us exactly what MASAC is all about. But before we do that, let them introduce themselves. Let us start with our beautiful lady over the society, Amanda.
Okay, thank you and good afternoon. I am MQOKWENI ZIYANDA, working as a social worker here at Merafong Anti-Substance Abuse Center.
Myself, I'm Oscar Matshe. I'm the board secretary in the organization, assisting, making sure that the organization stakeholder engagements become one of the best, the image within the organization, as well in assisting on the operations of the organization every day. Yes.
Oh, wow, wonderful. As you can see that this is a professional organization. Well, but this is a non-profit organization. Basically, they've got the activities that they are running by. She just mentioned that what MASAC stands for. I was about to ask them, what is MASAC? Is it an Egyptian name or what so forth? So, to tell us exactly why was MASAC formed and how did it come about to be where it is today, we'll then go with the board member, because I think the board member, those are the ones that started the organization, to tell exactly where was this MASAC formed. Mr. Matshe, you can't name organization alone.
It's quite a journey.
Okay.
In fact, we started to operate in 2016 when the organization was registered, established the same year, responding to the need within the community of Merafong City. The community of Merafong City had a problem with substance abuse. If you look, when you go around our communities, taxi rank within different kinds of our areas, we find people who are abusing drugs within our communities. The one that is of a problem is the Nyape, where you see a lot of our youth injecting themselves with this substance, and the need was identified within that contest, and it was registered and fully running, registered as a community-based certificate under the Act of 70/2008, where we deal with the treatment on the substance abuse. And so quite a journey. We started to operate within the Carl side street, Crescent Street, in the youth center for a period of at our 5th year. We were moved from that center and we started to look for a place. Removed because the youth center started to do renovations. The municipality, they started to do renovations around it. We had to look for alternative place to operate and run our organization. And we used the address within Fanzale at the top of the Adams Chemistry. we used to rent our offices. Until today, we couldn't, because of the nature of the services that we are running. We can safely say that now we are in 64 Egoyan Street, Oporosa, in Carltonville. That is where we are right now. Compliance, it took us a bit of a challenge. There were times where we had difficulty with social development. Our organizations closed for it when it comes into being closed because of non-compliance, and then for a period of 3 months, I think, where we were not complying, and I can safely say to you, we are back in operating as expected, starting from this month of October. We have signed a memorandum of understanding with social development. There's an agreement target being put in ensuring that we run with information sharing within our community on substance abuse and alcohol abuse. It becomes is still a burning issue, and I'm welcoming this platform like this, where it opens doors so that we can start to discuss and speak about substance abuse. I can safely say we are in operation.
What a useful information about the background of MASAC. You could hear this is a solid and formidable organization. Now, as the board members just indicated about where the organization has started and where it's going, we will also be allowing our sister here to tell us about the operations that they have within the MASAC. So, we're out of our sister and our MASAC as part as a social worker. So the floor is yours, my sister.
Okay, thank you once again. MASAC, which is Merafong Anti-Substance Abuse Center, it is an outpatient treatment center referring to rehabilitation centers. So the center has 4 programs, treatment programs, which is we have the awareness or prevention, we have the KIMOJA program, we have the community-based, and after that we have the aftercare program. So I will start by detailing what is awareness doing or prevention. So the awareness program is responsible for door-to-door campaigns. The taxi rank, they go to churches, to clinics, conveying the messages on the use of substances, and as well sharing the information about the organization and how best can it assist to people who are living with the drug issue, not only the people who are users, but the families as well as they are affected. And then again, we have the program which is KIMOJA. KIMOJA mostly is based in school, because we believe in early intervention and the prevention at its early stages. Because like we noticed that most students are using substances, more especially when it comes to DACHA. So it's important that we infuse the information for to the young ones before they even get to using the other drugs, because DACHA is always a channel to other substances. So the program of KIMOJA, it comes in many ways, because they have within the same program, which is KIMOJA, the program has the peer educators, it has a puppet show, it has alternatives. So the program is assisting learners to understand exactly what are the substances and the dangers. And as well, we have the outpatient, which is it falls under the outpatient, which is the community-based. So the community-based mostly is run by the social worker, responsible for all the new intakes within the organization. It happens when a client is admitting to having problem with using substances. It can also be referred by the family that are experiencing the problem with a person who is using substances. So for us to intervene, a person has to voluntarily admit that he has a problem with the use of substances and that he is willing to undergo rehabilitation. Remember, recovery, it has to be voluntarily, not forced, because it happens that if it's not what you wanted to do, you can go to rehab, complete the treatment program, and relapse thereafter because it was not what you wanted to do. So how best can I assist a person that is admitting to have a problem? Firstly, I admit you to my treatment program. Firstly, by doing the intakes and taking you through the steps of rehab, because you need to understand exactly what is rehab. There are procedures that one has to follow before going to rehab. The procedures include you filling all the documents that I needed, documents that include your ID copy, your proof of residence, your medical certificate, and your affidavit stating that voluntarily you want to go to rehab, you want to change. Then after that, there is a 6 weeks treatment program that you have to attend prior going to rehab. In that 6 weeks, it's whereby you learn more about rehab. You need to also understand yourself. You need to get exactly, is this what I want to do? Am I doing this for myself? What is it that I'm going to benefit after completing the treatment program? So after that, that is when we fill the forms and book you at the rehab around Gauteng. Mostly the rehabs that I've been referring to, I have one in Randfontein, which is Life Recovery. I have one in Krugersdorp, which is Itemba. I've been referring to Sanka Horizon in Boksburg, as well as Sanka Nishtara in Lens. So these rehabs, they differ on how they admit. Because like, I'll make an example of Life Recovery. They admit both males and females from the age of 18 to 65. And then there is Itemba Clinic in Krugersdorp. They only admit males from the age of 18 to 65. And then the other rehabs, they do the same as well. But with the Sanka Horizon, they do admit children that are less than 18. So for you to go to rehab, you need to consent that you are willing to go to rehab and that you have a problem. If you are less than 18, the parent has to consent. Mostly the cases that we get from the ones that are less than 18, it's mostly referred by the schools. When a school notices that a child has a problem, they do their assessments, then refer. If there is a case of substance abuse, then that is when we intervene. We do also get referrals from the mines, because they also have their employees who are having problems with substances and would love them to undergo the rehabilitation program. After all the procedure has been followed, we are able to book you to the rehab. The admission to the rehab is based on the availability of the space. We can book you maybe this week, then they might respond. After 2 weeks, then you get admitted. The moment you are admitted, you stay in rehab as an inpatient for a period of 6 weeks, depending on the period that each rehab offers. Some they do offer 4 weeks, mostly the ones that admit the kids that are less than 18, mostly they stay for 4 weeks in rehab. And then after that, because we believe that recovery is a process, you do not recover overnight. And it's rare that you find a person saying that I am fully recovering. So we keep referring you to as a recovering addict. So we have a program that is aftercare program that steps in immediately after you are released from rehab. The program is meant to take you through the regular recovery program, because you need to understand exactly what is it that is needed, because there are things that you need to avoid when you are recovering, because the chances of relapsing are there. There are triggers out there, so the program teaches you about those triggers and ways to prevent the possible relapse. And as well in the program, we also engage the families, because as a family, you also need to understand exactly how to treat this person. How best can you assist? What is it that we can do to prevent them from relapsing? It starts by, before even going to rehab, a family has to be involved. A family needs to understand. A family is a support structure, so it is needed when you are in a process of going to rehab and even after going to rehab. So the organization is doing its best to engage the families to understand exactly how they can assist. So it's a continuous program. It does not end. Recovery is possible, but only if you as a person, you are willing to change.
Well, as you can hear, that this pandemic that we are facing, because this thing affects our community at the highest most level. Now, she mentioned that cases can be referred by schools. Now, as you can know, like day to day, we see children going out there smoking, drinking beers, you know, to them it's like a norm. So I just want to find out about the programs that they normally do or that they are willing or intending to do with the schools to make sure, because you mentioned about the prevention process, which is very important, that it goes to the schools and then so that they can educate about people about this kind of a disease that is we are facing as a society. So my sister, as you're saying, you have the prevention program. I think that is the first one that you highlighted.
Yes.
So basically you go into the school. Are the school opening up the doors for you? Or do you need to apply? You know this process that you need to do. You need to apply to come and give a program, or they are willing to give you to work with them. And I guess immediately, or there's a process in there.
Okay, in this, like, we managed to build a strong relationship between the Department of Education.
Okay.
So getting access to school is way too easy. Like, we don't encounter any problems, as they also understand the importance of us running the services to their learners.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
At least when it's like that, then it shows that our government is also playing a part to try to change the life of our people. Now, also there's what you mentioned when you say outpatient, but I think you just outlined when you say, so you, because I can see it's Merafong Anti-Substance Abuse Center.
Yes.
So here, it's not like there are people inside yet.
Yes.
Oh, so you refer people to, that's what you're doing.
Rehabilitation
Yes.
center.
Oh, okay. So, but do you succeed when it comes to that?
Yes, we do succeed. Like, we have so many clients that we have referred to rehabs. And yes, as like I mentioned at first, that relapse is possible.
It's possible, yeah.
But with the program of aftercare, it's possible as well to stay clean and abstain from the use of substances and maintaining sobriety lifestyle. So we have many successful cases. Like, we have clients that have attended the treatment program, like understood that we are in outpatient treatment program. We don't have medication within the facility, but we do take them through the steps of rehab, preparing them so they can be prepared mentally, because you need to be prepared mentally for you to undergo this, and emotionally. So we do have cases that we referred, they came back, and some they are still clean, some are working, so they are our testimonies that we do work.
Oh, wonderful. So, okay, how many social workers do you have here?
No, I think we have one.
Only one social worker. And then do you have a team that you work with? Or it's only you? Imagine this kind of work, guys.
Okay, I have a team that I work with.
Oh.
Okay, I am the only social worker, but I have social auxiliary that is assisting me. So that is also running the aftercare program.
Oh.
Yes.
So for those who went to rehab when they came out,
Yes.
so they are the one. Okay. So what is the role of the board, especially when it comes to this one?
The role of the board is to support, is to ensure that all necessary resources play an oversight role within the running of the outpatient center, treatment center. You mentioned it and then you ask what is an outpatient treatment center. It's just a halfway house to our rehabilitation centers. We assess, look at the needs of individuals within the center who's coming, and at the time that person is supposed to go to rehabilitation centers, or it does need just a counseling, aftercare support programs that you are running. It's not that right away all those who are coming here are strictly going to rehabilitation. Sometimes we do counseling. We do the support groups, individuals, families. What I can say is that it's critical that the parents, they must support this youth, they must support these kids in ensuring that they go and remain sober and clean from drugs.
Parents, brothers, sisters, this is our role that we need to do. We need to help one another. Make sure that our young boys, our young, because this thing might lead to teenage pregnancy, am I right?
Yes.
Because you know when people are doing these drugs, they tend to lose themselves. So do you encounter cases like that? Maybe say, we have this child, she fell pregnant, and then people, they don't want to take that responsibility. They will say it's because of drugs. Have you ever heard such a case?
We do encounter such cases, more especially in the referrals that are made by parents. You will find that you send your daughter to school, and then the moment your child gets there, like there's peer pressure. So the child end up doing things that they would never do if they were not within the group. So it's the need to belong. So they do succumb to peer pressure. They end up doing things like using substances. So when using substances, as I mentioned at first, DACA is just a channel, like a stepping stone, an introduction to other substances. So it happens that you might think that you're using DACA only to find that someone laced it with another drug that you didn't know of. So you become an addict. In fact, becoming an addict doesn't happen over a night, but repeatedly use, you end up becoming an addict. So with the young girls, like they are so vulnerable because like you get a boyfriend not knowing that this person is using substances, so you end up being caught in the middle, and then on the other side you are high, you cannot function on your own, like you don't have consent in everything that is happening to you. You might end up getting raped, or you might end up being pregnant with a child that you don't even know who it belongs to. And the other cases that I notice every day is the issue of HIV, because mostly they are using drugs, they are injecting themselves without even knowing their statuses and sharing the same needle. And what is going to happen to that 14-year-old girl? Let's just say you are 18, you are using substances, you injecting already, and it happens that at some point you know your status. And I have this 16-year-old daughter that you're going to meet one day, have her as a girlfriend, and not brave enough to disclose your status, and you end up infecting. So like right now it's an issue of is it like we're trying to fight the substance abuse, we're trying to fight the HIV and AIDS. So if we have cases like this, then that means we at this point, as much as we're trying, we're not going to win with the issue of HIV and AIDS for as long as the drugs are still involved.
The part of outpatient, so it means like they go to rehab, and then when they get out, they need to find something that they can work by. Do you have like stakeholders that you're working with to provide with skills development, or maybe you have seen a potential in terms of where, how does that go about?
Yeah, that's a difficult question to answer, but I'll try. We are having challenge on the integration. Integration is a person who's coming, what you can say, process is that the person who's coming from a rehabilitation center be integrated back within the community. We need to have some soft skills. And the organization that we are currently work with, what we can only agree that we have partnered with it is a Bambisa and Sam. It's an organization that deals with skills development and training within the Merafong city. It is based within the West Deep Level Number 2. That's the organization that we are currently work with. We need to ensure that those who are coming from the rehabilitation center are being taken through the support after care. More of the challenge that we are experiencing is to break into the corporate partnership. The mines, it can be that we still have a challenge of breaking within it. We are appealing to any other person who fight against the scourge of drug abuse within our community. I think that is the most difficult exercise. It's very difficult to get within that corporate, the mining sector, where we are looking for partnerships within social responsibility programs. I think the mine must start to open doors to them. And saying, please, let them come in and support. We can't run this outpatient within ourselves alone. There are resources implicated, daily operation of it within the community. I think that's the key. We're doing our focus right now. We've got a fundraising committee that is dedicated, that is willing to maybe in 2 weeks, 3 weeks to come in. We'll open a platform for donation where we'll ask the community to 10 rand, 20 rand, 50 rand, in ensuring that those who go to even rehab, Baba the toiletries, Baba the basic needs when they are within there, because there are those who are poor, coming from the poor background. And this organization, we are a non-profit organization, we don't have any, we are relying on funding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You know, one thing I like about that, what you just mentioned, is that, you know, most of the time people, they will say, we want the municipality to come and work with us. But hey, this problem affects everywhere. You go to them and say, that's when they say the mines. Because you find people there, they will go to work and then they test themselves. About TEEJAY.
Yes.
And then you motivate, no, I've got a problem with alcohol, so that you can secure the job. So we are saying, mines, we are open for you. You can bring these people, go to our project, our program, the one that you mentioned, which is like the 6 weeks, and then you lava checker, and then you refer them to the what you call the
rehabilitation center.
Yeah, that they're working with them.
Yes.
That's quite good. And also, when you say the community, because this happens each and every street that we are living with, we are having this kind of a problem. So you know what? We can bypass the sharpest swing, we can more about the organization. I mean, yeah, they open doors for us. So Luluna, they will open doors for you. So my sister, as you mentioned about the four points that you mentioned, the one that I just want to grab them. It's the prevention,
Yes.
and then Gemonat, and then the other one community based.
Yes.
Okay, so the community based, how can you just tell us the community based?
Okay, the community-based program is the one that is run by the social worker.
Oh.
So I am the one responsible for all your rehab referrals, all your group sessions, because I do group sessions. The group sessions include with the learners, and also they are highly addicts, because the addiction is not the same. The ones that are using learners which is using the dacha, mostly I attend them separately, and the ones that are using peat alcohol, they have their own group, because mostly the learners, some of them, they don't make it to rehab, but they come to the program just to learn about substances, and we equip them with the ways on how they can prevent the use of substances. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, they nailed it. Well, so this is what we said when we come to this organization, MASAC. Make sure that you don't forget the name, Merafong Anti-Substance Abuse Center. Yeah, I like when they follow me. So, well, as we are coming to the close of this particular, I call it a presentation because I'm listening to them. They are telling you about what they are doing. So I feel like they've given us everything we wanted to say. So I will give you some few minutes. I will give it to you. I heard you appeal to the society. I want you also to appeal. But in this time around, the Kalagawena, the Kataka sister. So what can you appeal? Tell the community, MASAC as a board member,
A support.
Yeah.
A support to the abuse of alcohol. It now becomes a societal problem that needs the support of the community. The door is open. We just need support, encouragement from the community, and we must try to have a platform of a discussion, a dialogue with the community, and say Kimoja without drugs. Thank you.
Okay, my sister, tell them. Those stakeholders, those entrepreneurs, those corporates, tell them. As a social worker, my plea to you.
As a social worker, my plea to the community, my plea to the parents, my plea to the families, offer as much support as you can. Lababanu, they need our support. Without the support from the family, Abayondo, they need us, and we also plea from the donors, not only strictly from the donors, but you as an individual. If some we take them from the street, they don't have anything to wear, they don't have toiletries, they don't have anything. So as a non-profit organization, we do try our best. We do give to them, we do try our best to get them toiletries so that they can be admitted. Nabo babe right, babuye bazojoin the community. Sebengabantu aba free from drugs, sebengabantu aba useful with communities zethu.
I bet I got calls. You know, when someone speaks their language, you know, they are nailing it. So, Bapetu, I just want to say this one to you. As we channel 24.99, we like this kind of an initiative because these people are taking their time from their families to make sure that they bring a positivity within our society. We, as community, we must come and say, we have helped you. Let us come and work together. As you know that it takes a village to raise a child. Now, in this case, it takes you as a community member to come and work with these people at MASAC. I compared this with coronavirus because this is deadly. It's affecting the community. Our street, each and every street, we are experiencing this kind of a disease. So, Bapetu, I'm pleading to you as me from channel 24.99. Before you can subscribe, like, and comment, make sure that you pay these guys a visit just to get to know much about them. Bring those toiletries, support them. You are not only supporting them, but you're also supporting a brother, a friend, a loved one. So with that, Bapetu, make sure you tune in the next coming edition of StyleSaBiggs along with channel 24.9. Usalubalo subscribe, like, and comment, Bapetu. Danko, 8